Hey, internet world, I keep trying to get this camera to work and it doesn't want to work. So I'm new to flintlock shooting, muzzle loading. I'm going to show you what happened. This is a ball and patch. I don't know how well you can see this, because if I move this, then there's a glare. This ball and patch got stuck in my rifle. And this is a rifle, not a musket. Guess you can't see that, can you? I had to, let me see. Somebody said welcome to the club earlier after I was talking about this. See that? Sorry, that glare is really something. And this is the patch that was with it. And what I got it out with, what I should have done is not turn the light out, the overhead light. Got it out with this. Combination of this and my new, not yet finished ramrod. My new ramrod, has a place on the end where you take this. Sorry, I don't have my glasses on, and you just screw it in. I'm not going to do it too tight because I had to get a pair of pliers to get this off earlier. And then I just put it down the barrel, screwed it into the ball, which I had to do more than once, by the way, because I got it in there and started pulling on it. The first time or two, I didn't screw it in enough. And then, Maggie, be nice to Cooper. That's one of our cats and our dog. Basically what I did, this is long, I haven't finished this, like I said. That's the other end. I'm probably going to round that end off. Put it down the barrel, screwed it into the ball, then I had to pull it out. It wasn't that difficult, but I did have to work on it. It didn't just pop out. It was in there with a patch. Now, the moral of the story is when you're out there with a muzzle loader, remember to put the powder in first. Yes, that's very important. Put the powder in first. But like I said, somebody on a living history site said, welcome to the club. So, I'm learning. I'm still new to this. How did I get into muzzle loading? I'll tell you. My wife passed away a few years ago, and I basically spent 2 years in a very deep depression. And I started thinking about, well, what am I going to do? I can't, keep living like this. I'll tell you what saved me, though, my current wife. She's in the other room, that's why I'm pointing over there. But, I found something to do, and I bought a rifle kit, and let's just say that didn't turn out too well for quite a long time. And then I got on a Facebook page for the town I live in, that we live in, and I asked if anybody knew anything about building a muzzle loader. You would think it would be simple and straightforward, and it was not. It was a long way from simple and straightforward. Somebody here in town knows somebody in another town near us. You have to understand northern New England. It's made up of villages and towns. You don't have a whole lot of cities. But anyway, so this guy, I don't want to say his name. I want to say his name, but I don't want to say his name. He's a good guy. He is a reenactor just like I am, although he's on the wrong side of the fence. And he said, hey, you know what, I'll do it for the experience. And he said it'd probably take about a couple of weeks, and it took a little longer. He says there was a lot more to it than he thought there would be. He really had to do some work on this thing. This thing right here. This is a Kentucky Flintlock. Now, this ramrod, I bought this. I don't remember where I bought it. Otherwise, I would tell you. It's working great, though. The only thing is the pipes. These pipes. I don't know if you can see without the light, but this new ramrod is a little too thick. So I don't know if with sanding it will it'll fit the pipes or not. It does fit, I just showed you, it does fit the barrel. Now this is a 50 caliber. This is nothing like a modern 50 caliber. Nothing like a modern 50 caliber. I've never shot a modern 50 caliber. I know people who have, and they've told me it kicks like a mule. And I've never been kicked by a mule, thankfully. I've been thrown from a horse, but I've never been kicked by no mule. My sister got kicked by a horse, but anyway, so he built this for me. I took it out and I shot it. First 2 rounds, everything went fine. And the third time I went to load it, I forgot to put the powder in. So I tried building this thing, but let me tell you, it didn't work out too well. My dream gun is a 62 caliber smoothbore, Flintlock. I don't want no cap gun or whatever they are. I want a Flintlock. Now I've used this flint. Boy, oh boy, I tell you what, I've used this here flint. Now I know I said I live in New Hampshire, and I probably don't sound like no person from New Hampshire. I lived in Texas for nearly 50 years. And before that, I lived in Europe and Asia. I have used this flint many, many times. I can still get a spark from it, but it's time to change it. I don't know how to, shape the flints. If I knew how to shape the flints, I might be able to get some more out of this flint. But I have other flints. I still have a lot to learn. Especially, I need to learn how to properly care for and clean this thing. So I'm open to whatever you have to say. This is half cock. This is, by the way, called a cock and not a hammer. It's half cock. That's full cock. This is a frizzen. I do have a homemade frizzen stall, but it's in with all my kit, and my wife doesn't like me getting my kit out because I make a mess. I make a mess anyway, but I make a big mess, so my wife is like, please don't do that. But let me tell you, I like this. Now, when I went and shot this baby, I'm gonna have to give her a name, though, ain't I? Aren't I? Anyway, one thing I noticed was First of all, it smells differently. It smells different from modern powder. Second, it doesn't have the kick like I thought it would have. I thought it was going to knock me on my rear end. Nope. Maybe a little kick, but it's not much at all. But I could tell that the ball had some knockdown power. I shot a ball into a tree. I could not get my pinky, to touch that ball. I mean, it went in, and of course it's a softwood, but I could not get my finger into where the ball was. I couldn't even see it. It went in far enough. It was a pine tree that I shot, by the way. But I'm hoping that if I once I sand the new ramrod, that it will fit in here. If not, I'll just get another one. They're not that expensive. This is Traditions. That's the brand. It's Traditions. I bought it from muzzleloaders.com, muzzle-loaders.com. Some places that I bought things from, Track of the Wolf. Excellent company, by the way. Crazy Crow, which is in Texas, Pottsboro, Texas. CVA, actually, what is it? There's a Log Cabin Shop, and there's a Log Cabin Shop, and what is this company? If I can get it up. Okay, my screen seems to have froze, but I bought from a number of different companies, and what I'm finding is that I've also bought from Townsend's, James Townsend and Son. I happen to like Townsend's because of their videos, and especially their cooking videos. I really like. Okay, I can eat and eat and eat and never gain weight. My wife is like, how can you do that? And I'm like, I don't know, but I can eat and never gain weight. I happen to have a thing for food. When I was growing up, I grew up in institutions, basically. Once we moved to the United States, I basically grew up in institutions. And in those institutions, you only had a certain amount of time to eat. And it usually wasn't very good. And one place even served us cat. They served us cat. That place was called the Devereaux Foundation, by the way. Stray cats lived up in the woods. And one day we go into to the mess hall, the dining hall, and we sit down to eat, and the staff didn't eat it. It was like a stew, and there were shotgun pellets in the meat. And there ain't no more cats around there. It was in cats, and the staff didn't eat it. They watched us eat it, but they sure the hell didn't eat it. Nasty SOBs that worked there. Most of them, not all of them. There were maybe a handful out of 4 years. On one hand, I can count the number of decent staff that were there. But he had to do some stuff to this to get it to go together. And he did a really good job. I have another buttstock that I messed up, by the way, because the lock, where I was putting the lock, or where the lock goes, and he had to weld this one piece on here. The spring, the frozen spring, he had to weld that, which means I'm going to be getting another couple of them, just, because if it breaks, because eventually it's going to either break or it's going to just not have the spring to it or whatever. Things don't last forever, right? So I want to get 2 or 3 spares of those. I have a spare frizzen. This is my little toolkit. although I'm going to transfer it to another container. It has leather for helping keep the some of this leather is, I didn't cut it right. I'm still learning. I mean, you know, it's just a little piece of leather that helps to hold the flint in the jaws of the cock. And anyway, so I still have to go on my little trip. I still haven't decided exactly where I'm going to go, because I say, well, I'm going to go on the Abenaki Trail, as I call it. But then I could go on the rail trail. Both of them are, well, the rail trail's closer. But I'm going to go in kit. I'm not going to just carry a flintlock with me. I'm going to go in my outfit, my kit. And I really like shooting this. And he did a really good job in putting this together for me. I really appreciate it. Thank you. And anyway, I really like shooting this a lot better than modern guns for some reason. Now, of course, there is that delay. When you, for those who don't know, you put it in half cock, put the frizzen back here, you put the powder, the ball, and then you pick it up, put it on full cock, put your powder in the pan, right there, close the frizzen, and I'm not going to fire it, but it hits the frizzen, sparks go, the sparks hit the powder in the pan, that goes into the gun, into the barrel, and propels the ball out. Now, this is the ball with the patch. And I'm kind of saving it as, like, well, the ball eventually I'm going to melt down and make a new ball with. But maybe not. I might just save that as my first misfire, or whatever you want to call it. But there is that short delay between the time the powder in the pan goes off and the powder in the barrel goes off. And that's something I'm having to get used to. But it shoots straight. It definitely shoots straight. And I really like it. It's a nice gun. He did a great job on putting it together for me. I do not want to have to buy another ramrod, but if I have to, I have to. I think it was like $13-14. Let me see if I can get that other company up now. Actually, you know what I can do? Do this. If it's going to work. See, my thing's freezing up. My screen's freezing up. So I can't tell you the name of this company right now, because I also found another company called Samson History. Oh, and then another company that I have bought from is Panther Primitives. I happen to have 2 haversacks from them. They're oilskin haversacks. I'm going to have to get another haversack. Both are jumbo size, and I need to get a regular size. I'm going to get a green canvas haversack. I'm still working on my persona. I'd appreciate any ideas, suggestions, help for doing that. What I see myself as is simply this. The way I make my living is I go out there, I find a fort, I find a homestead, farmstead, whatever. They're like, would you go out and get us some meat? And I'm like, sure. And I go out and I get some meat and I sell it to them, or I go up to their cabin or their fort and say, hey, I got some meat, you want to buy some? Basically the long hunter sort of thing. But I also work with the Abenaki and the French although I have no allegiance to the French. It just, the Abenaki are allied with the French, so I therefore... You found Boo? Oh. One of our kitties is missing. Since I'm an ally of the Abenaki, and by the way, in Keene today I saw a big mural, a big Abenaki mural, which was really nice to see. People of the Dawnland. But anyway, so I'll work, you know, like as a member of the militia or whatever. But I'm not a joiner. I'm not going to join any outfit, any unit, or anything like that. But I'm going to have to in order to participate in some events. So I just don't like joining stuff. Okay, I'm over that. And then I have my shooting bag, which I've been working on. It's way too heavy right now because I have like 200 lead balls in here, which is way too many. Oh gosh, that is heavy. Now this, right now, I'm going to be using as my my patch knife. This I got from Crazy Crow. I haven't taken it out of here in quite a while, so it's kind of, there we go. I need to oil it. This, I use this right now until I get a proper patch knife. This I think is kind of big for a patch knife, but it's what I have, and I have a tendency to overdo things, to like, I'll like buy 3 or 4 or 5 of an item. Like I'm going to get a second cleaning kit, you know, with this stuff in it. Whoops. Because who knows, one day I could be out there and something could happen and I could lose something. So it'd be nice to have a second one at home, so when I do get home, you know, I can replace it without having to go out and buy another one. So you know, and I want to have replacement parts just in case, like a frizz, and I have an extra frizz in here that I need to put away somewhere. I have a powder horn that has a full pound of powder in it. Let me show you that. Bought this for 30 bucks. I don't remember do you remember the name of that store, hon? Where we bought the powder horn? It's in Charleston, right? What? What? On Lover's Lane in Charleston, New Hampshire. Well, I say Charleston. Charlestown is how they say it up here. Charlestown, not Charleston. And it's on Lover's Lane. It's in Charleston, New Hampshire. Right there next to the river, actually, the Connecticut River. Nice, look at that. So, there you go. And that's my Flintlock rifle. Have a great day.